What's going on, fam? We back with another video, y'all. And for this one, we got Boosie and Vlad beefing, which is new news to me, and it's crazy because I watched all the interviews. I ain't gonna lie. Well, let me not. Uh, I watched most of their videos. I watched most of their interviews. With that being said, this is crazy. I thought they would never start like beefing or anything like that. This is crazy. So I ain't got much to say. Let's get to it, man. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, get y'all grabber, whatever y'all need. Let's go ahead and get to this video, man.
Vlad TV is really pissed at Boosie. He believes that Boosie lied and misrepresented their conversation and their negotiation to make him look bad. Now, during his interview with 1090 Jake, Vlad TV broke down what he says really took place and how he believes Boosie was being a tad bit unfair in their negotiations. Now, if you guys forgot, yesterday, Boosie was on live stream and Boosie says he's pretty much not doing another Vlad TV interview until Vlad TV wants to pay him. And Vlad TV was being cheap and didn't want to pay him an additional $5,000.
I ain't do Vlad no more. We couldn't come up with a agreement. He didn't want to pay me. I wanted 5,000 more than he wanted to pay me. He didn't want to pay me, so I think I'm gonna make more money doing it this way. And I'm editing my interview now.
I don't know what time it is. Let's talk about it.
Uh-oh. Yeah, get ready. Just 7 months. Let's go.
That's the first thing Vlad had an issue with. Vlad had an issue with Boosie saying he only wanted $5,000. Vlad will say that Boosie actually wanted a 40% increase on what he was already getting paid. And he will say, yo, when Boosie asked for this increase, he did his due diligence, looked at the numbers, and figured out that Boosie wasn't worth what he was asking, and actually tried to tell Boosie and show Boosie the numbers, but nothing worked, and Boosie called him greedy over the phone.
Originally, I wasn't paying him to do interviews, but over time, as the views kept going up and people were really gravitating towards these interviews, we started working out appearance fees. And the fees slowly went up, and over the last couple of years, the fee that we actually stuck at was around was $25,000 per interview.
I just want to point out, I told y'all Boosie was getting paid $25,000 per interview yesterday, and y'all called me a liar and asked me how did I know.
And that price was justified because Boosie was pulling in like 6 million views for every interview.
Exactly.
And
what he mean by 6 million views, he mean by because if y'all don't know what Vlad does, he takes, say me and him had an interview, right? What he'll do is he'll create a playlist of it and he'll cut it up into sections. So those get views on top of the interview when he drops the full interview getting views. So those clips of the interview plus the whole interview as a whole equals that many views. So when he's saying that, no, that's not a lot of money. No, that's actually reasonable because he's making his money back. But yeah, no, that's reasonable. So he wanted 5,000 more. So he wanted 30 bands for an interview. That's hey. I mean, Vlad tried to. I could believe that Vlad tried to show him, like, physically sit him down and was like, look at this, look at that, look at that. I could see Vlad doing that because of the relationship they got. I could see Vlad doing some shit like that. No cap. No cap. I can see Vlad doing that. That's crazy. Damn, that's a
particular situation. And I showed Boosie all the numbers and all my back end numbers and so forth.
Right.
When he was getting around 5.5 million views, I would make around 35,000 off that interview, and he would make 25,000. Right, so I had a $10,000 profit margin. He still made the majority of the money.
So you profited 10 bands, he profited 25. Sound like a win-win in my case. I don't see what he want. Man. I don't understand it. It's like, I don't know. I get you want more. You want 5 bands more? Like, no, you can't negotiate with him. That's all you want? Like, At that point, he pretty much ain't making a profit if we being real, because shoot, 5 bands today, that's shit, half of that's gone by the time a person got to pay rent. And his rent, if he don't own this, I'm quite sure he paid half the amount. That being said, Boosie already got bread. I don't see why he trying to go so. I don't see it.
But I was still making $10,000, so I was cool with that.
You gotta make it make sense,
right? And we were rocking like that for years. So some time had passed. It was, I don't know, about 6, 7, 8 months since our last interview. So I just hit him up one day, a couple of weeks ago, and we had a conversation. And this conversation was a private business conversation, but Boosie recently did a live where he revealed parts of this conversation, and in his live, he said that he had asked for $5,000 more, and I said no, which is why he's not going to do the interview.
Show your daughter how much you love her with this beautiful gift. It says, "To my daughter, never forget that I
wanted 5,000 more than he wanted to pay me. He didn't want to pay me, so I think I'm gonna make more money doing it this way. And I'm editing my interview now.
Now, that's not exactly accurate. So, I wasn't going to put any of this out there, but because he started putting out numbers out there and people started going, oh, Vlad being cheap, why is it only 5,000? You could pay him that, not knowing the whole picture. So I'm going to lay out the whole picture for everyone just to explain what exactly is going on. So when I called Boosie, like I said, the fee had always been $25,000. He said, I want $40,000.
If Boosie was getting 6 million
God
long-form views,
damn.
I'm talking about.
This nigga Boosie ain't trying. So you gotta make it make sense, bro. Niggas be getting a little too money hungry. God damn, you went from 20. You didn't even go 10 bands up, my nigga. You went 15 bands up. That's wild, bro. That's wild. You couldn't even. Damn, that's wild, bro. That's
over
wild.
18 or 20-minute long videos, then it's worth it, because that's how the numbers work.
40
But
bands
in the
for one
case of
interview is
Vlad
crazy.
TV and
He ain't
Boosie,
even gonna make no
Vlad
profit.
TV is cutting up those clips, and they're like 4, 5, 6 minutes long. That's about $5 per 1,000 views, right? Probably $6, $7 per 1,000 views.
Right.
If the clip is under 8 minutes, it's about $5 per 1,000 views. If it's above 8 minutes, from 8 to 10 minutes, it's about $7, $8. If it's over 15 minutes, it's about $10 per 1,000 views. So if Boosie was getting 6 million views on the long form interviews, then that would have justified him getting $40,000 automatically, because if he's getting paid, let's say $10 per 1,000 views, 6 million views, that's $60,000. That's a clear margin. Mm-hmm. But if Boosie is getting the majority of these views, like on the clips, then we can average it out to about, let's say, $6 per 1,000 views. We can probably say, like, what? That's about, I don't know, man, $35,000 coming in. If you're paying him $25,000, that could justify the $10,000 margin. But you can't justify paying him $40 if he's getting 6 million views. Now, the counter to this, and the devil's advocate here is, Vlad, that's YouTube views. You repurpose the clips on Facebook as well. Facebook pays probably just as well as YouTube.
I didn't know that.
And
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Did not know that. And if Facebook is paying like YouTube or close to it, him getting 40 bands, honestly, you still making profit off of Boosie's one interview. The way you cut it up stuff, you still making profit. You probably not making as much, but you still making profit. Now, do I think 40 bands for one interview is a whole hell of a lot? Yeah. I think he could have went from at least did 30. Now, after hearing everything, the 5,000 ain't that bad. I feel like he could at least came up to 30. Especially if he uploading the clips on Facebook and is getting the revenue over there too. Yeah, altogether he making some money off of it. He still be making profit too. So at the end of it, you seen Boosie say 5. So and you seen Vlad say that he wanted 40. So he probably hit him with the higher number and negotiated it. Okay, I'll be reasonable with you because I fuck with you, Vlad. Give me 30 bands. And you already been giving him 25. I don't think that would have hurt it that much. When after hearing you upload them on Facebook as well as YouTube, so you collecting 2 different revenues off of one. Nah, I don't think he was wrong for wanting another 5 bands. Honestly, I don't think he was wrong there. That's just my opinion.
You monetize it here, and here.
Now 40 bands is crazy.
In the grand scheme of things, you probably are getting more money coming in from outside of YouTube as well. But nonetheless, though, if the bread and butter is YouTube and you're counting on the YouTube views to be consistent, then you have to pay them, per the YouTube views, right? According to you, then yeah, like 40,000 will be absurd if the majority of the views is from short form. If the majority is coming from long form, then 40,000 will be pretty accurate here. Yeah. So Vlad goes on and say that, that like Boosie calls him cheap. Now, Boosie may not know this, and let me tell Boosie this. Calling a Jewish man cheap is like a slur. Like, calling a Jewish man cheap, calling him greedy, is like calling him a racial slur. They get super upset and super angry at that. So if Boosie was doing it as negotiation strategy, that's probably the worst strategy you could do. All right, you call that Jewish man cheap and greedy, he's looking at you as if you the enemy. He's looking at you as if, I don't know, you feel me, like a Nazi soldier or something, but he's looking at you as if you're like an enemy if you call him cheap or greedy. So in the case of Vlad, I don't feel like Vlad was being cheap per se. Now, could Vlad make the 40,000 worth? Maybe. But that would take Boosie coming and Boosie giving Vlad, I'm talking about one of the greatest interviews of all time, especially with the hiatus. But the thing with Boosie is he's not asking for 40K one time. As Vlad would explain, if Boosie was asking for 40K one time, then maybe. But Boosie is asking for 40K as the new fee. So whenever Vlad TV wants to have him in, he got to agree to $40,000. And to me, that's kind of too much. I wouldn't pay that, but I'm not Boosie. I don't know the analytics. Vlad TV didn't give me the analytics. He gave Boosie the analytics.
More growth means more employees spending money on travel. How do we keep it under control? Navan, employees choose.
It was and to think about it, bro, you was making a lot of money off of Vlad when you put it all into perspective. For the people who don't know, it was a good, nice little run where him and Vlad was just every month or every other month, they was going hard. I'd say within 2 years, he made close to or a little bit over 200 bands over him easy. They was just going interview. They was just every other month, like, you know what I'm saying? And the people that watch Vlad, the real Vlad fans or Boosie fans, with y'all know what I'm talking about, man. It was just a run where they was just going like every other month. Damn near seemed like every other week. They was just dropping an interview. So think about that. 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 100. Like he stacking that up. Like that's. Then again, I get he got a lot of bills because he built his successful life for himself. So he need the money to do what he want to do and stuff. He got his own land. Shout out to Boosie for having that too. We need more black people with their own land. But 30, I could see 30, but 40, that's pushing it. That's pushing it. I ain't gonna lie.
And I'm like, fam, I can't do 40,000. That's just
too much.
Putting me in the hole in a situation like this. He's like, well, I'll go as low as 35. And I'm like, man, listen, I might be able to do 30 after I run the numbers, but 35 is definitely out of the question. But let me go ahead and run my numbers and actually see what's going on. So I went back and I looked through the last, 5 or 6 interviews, and I looked, and the profit margin on each of these interviews was around $10,000. So I showed him the numbers. I sent him a spreadsheet showing him my back-end numbers.
So
and I'm
pretty much you've been so these last few interviews you've been robbing Vlad. Vlad ain't been making no money off you. You've been making all the money off him. So you gotta, when it's business, it gotta make sense on both ends. It can't just be bully ball on one end. You know what I'm saying? And he just take it. You got And honestly, looking back at the numbers, shoot, Vlad been being nice to you. Shoot, she should have been lower.
Like, bro, the most I could do is 25. You're asking for 35. Your traffic has been dipping over the years. You've gone from about 6 million to about 5.5 to about 5 and some change. So you're looking at about maybe a 10, 15% decrease in views, which means a 10 to 15% decrease in revenue, as you know, but you're asking for a 40% increase in appearance fee. A 40% increase. It doesn't make any business sense because what'll end up happening is, look, Boosie's already at home, right? He wakes up, he does the interview. There's no cost associated with him, and he was getting paid $25,000. I have to fly because I don't have a studio or a camera crew in Georgia, in Atlanta, so I have to hire a camera crew in Atlanta. I have to fly from LA to Atlanta. I have to get a hotel. I have to have all the costs associated with it. And then afterwards, I have to pay to get the video edited and pay my crew and everything else like that. And as you know, with YouTube, I'm taking all the risk because sometimes videos get demonetized, right? Especially when you talk about someone like a Boosie who has, you know, he swears, he's talking about a lot of edgy stuff. And at the end of the day, I'm taking 100% of the risk. So I'm like, listen, I cannot pay you $35,000 when I'm going to make nothing. Or maybe I'm even going to take a loss.
You've been taking a loss.
Like, yo, you're being cheap. And I said, I'm not being cheap.
Vlad will speak to Sean Cotton from Say Cheese, and Sean will actually tell Vlad that he spoke to somebody near the situation, and that person told him that Boosie is upset and is charging more because of what 6ix9ine got paid, or because of Vlad saying that he paid 6ix9ine the most he has ever paid any guest. Now, Vlad would address.
Before y'all say anything, let me look up. Because from what I heard, that was his most viral interview ever. But let me look it up. I don't know what interview they're talking about. I don't know. He did too many interviews, but one of his interviews altogether did so many numbers. So I have not heard Vlad say that his interview did the most views on his channel. So I could understand him paying him the most, being that he did the most views. It just makes it gotta make business sense. Then again, like I don't know.
That's that. And Vlad will be brutally honest. To be honest, Vlad would just straight up say, "Hey, listen, man. 6ix9ine got 20 million views. That's like almost 4 times what."
6 million, 20 million. Then again, I repeat that. 6 million, 20 million. I can only imagine how much they was getting paid off those. Y'all do the math. I don't got time to right now.
Whatever Boosie gets me. So, of course, 6ix9ine would get paid more than Boosie. But also, Vlad would actually let the cat out the bag and say, yo, 6ix9ine was actually flexible. That after the first interview that 6ix9ine got paid, I think like $50,000. The second or third interview that 6ix9ine did, he didn't get paid $50,000. And 6ix9ine actually, you know, did a more reasonable fee based on the views, right? Something that Boosie was unwilling to do, according to Vlad.
What would you tell someone who knows exactly what to do?
Then again, it's just logical business.
That gap has a name.
I'm being put in a situation where you make all the money and I make none of the money.
Exactly.
It simply doesn't make any business sense.
Well, let me ask you, what was it that caused the price hike? Because I feel like it would be more understandable if he just beat a major case or if something significant happened, and you know what I mean? Like sometimes we see rappers go through crazy things and
my nigga got 1090 Jake interviewing him. This is I mean, I could, that's yeah. Yeah.
Everybody wants that breaking story. What was it that you think caused this to come about?
I don't know. I know Sean Cotton, me and Sean actually had a conversation about this yesterday. He had put out a video where he said that he had heard from someone that Boosie was upset because I had mentioned that I paid Tekashi more than I'd ever paid anyone else. And that might be the reason. I've never actually asked Boosie to confirm this. But if that is true, you guys have to understand, Tekashi brought in like 20 million views.
Then again,
it was the biggest interview of 2025. It was the biggest meme of 2025. The whole I stole that shit. But that was a one-off. The other Tekashi interviews were not, that same price, right? Because they didn't get those same type of views. I've paid Boosie way more than I paid Tekashi. Way more.
And not only that, it doesn't seem like Tekashi is that consistent versus Boosie is more of a recurring guest.
Yeah.
And I hope that Boosie, I don't wish, whatever direction he chooses to go, but I hope he realizes the power and the dynamic that you two have. Because both of you mesh very well, and it's the presentation entirely that makes it what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think me and Boosie play off each other very well. So Boosie went on live. Like I said, I wasn't going to say any of this. This was just going to be a private conversation between me and Boosie. And if people ever asked, I'd be like, oh, well, me and Boosie just busy. And, at some point we might hook up or not. It is what it is. That's my man. But he decided to make a video. And in the video, he said, I'm going to do the interview myself. And I'm going to have my kids interview me. And I think I'll make more money this way. And I'm actually glad that Boosie is going that direction because
Vlad believes that once Boosie does the interviews by himself, post it on his YouTube channel, and actually see how much money is coming in and how much YouTube pays, he believes that Boosie will be more receptive now to more offers or to a lesser number than the $40,000. Because once Boosie drop videos and see, okay, this much comes. But from my perspective, I think if Boosie starts doing interviews by himself, I think, again, this is just how my mind works, okay? $10,000 to $15,000 that Boosie can get on his own independent channel is probably worth more than $25,000 or $30,000 he can get from other people's channels. And here's why. You do, let's say, you get $10,000 to $15,000. $10,000 to $15,000 means that your interview that you released on your channel did about 1.5 million views total. Now, out of that 1.5 million views total, you will probably gain about, 10,000 to 15,000 subscribers. If it's Boosie, it might be 20,000. So if you make about $15,000 and gain about 20,000 subscribers and you do this often on a routine basis, like the $20,000 hit that you might have by doing it like yourself, that gets outweighed with the subscribers. Once you get the once you get the subscriber count, you get to build your audience and like build your platform and get to do different shows. To me, that's worth a little more than just getting a one-time check or a recurring check elsewhere. But not everybody thinks like me. But y'all let me know in the comment section after hearing what Boosie has to say and what Vlad has to say, whose side are you guys on? Do y'all still think that Vlad was being cheap? Let me know, okay? And if you're still watching this video and you want to watch another good video, click on this video.
That's the video, y'all. I don't feel like he was being cheap. I feel like he was being using his business logic. It had nothing to do with feelings, none of that. It's just strictly business. It just didn't make sense for him to do the stuff, and he's gonna take a loss every time. If that's the set price, every time y'all do an interview, he gotta take a loss. It's just not worth it on his end. So I agree. I agree with Vlad on this. I ain't gonna lie. It just don't make no sense. But I don't know. Y'all let me know how y'all feel, man. Drop a like, comment, subscribe. Y'all subscribe, hit that notification bell, man, so y'all get the videos when they drop. Other than that, y'all be blessed, stay safe, stay out the way, and I'm gonna see y'all on the next one, man.